A golden ray of blinding white pierced through the curtain, waking me from yet another dream that had centered around exploration and road trips. Lifting my phone off the bedside table, I squinted my eyes to ward against the obnoxiously bright display. 6:45 a.m. Intriguing, I mused, half dazed and certainly not awake yet. Most of my dreams, I pondered a moment, were of adventures, traveling. The underlying message here was journey, of what I wasn't quite awake enough to figure out. As mentioned before, I was but half awake on my feet. To be awake and in personable spirits that day, I had a rather potent hankering and need for caffeine. I'd barely cracked open a Zoa energy drink, lifting it to my dry lips only seconds before Lincoln Park's One Step Closer pierces the otherwise peaceful silence of a Monday morning. Annoyed at the thought of my employer and best friend Devon bugging me before our usual 9 a.m., I swiped the screen. Lifting the phone, I tuck it between my ear and shoulder, greeting him as I prepare my morning medicine. His voice, far too bubbly for so early in the morning, came through. "Damn, Chris, didn't think you knew what this hour felt like." This was followed by a laugh on his end. My reply, as it tends to be, was a tad bit vulgar, but all in good fun, and as it tends to be between boys, well, I don't think I have to say. The conversation concluded with him asking me if I'd be willing to put in a double shift, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., and again that night from 8 p.m. to midnight. He insisted he needed to make as much money as possible to pay rent and his car payment. I was sore and certainly not in good spirits given our interaction and morale the evening before, when the night had ended in a near shouting match. However, given I too needed the money, and am never one to turn down an opportunity to work if the circumstances are conducive, agreed and told him I'd be ready in an hour or so. The morning went smoothly, though I noticed silently that his mood when he picked me up was more strained and tense than when we'd spoken on the phone. This wasn't abnormal, as there were times when he tended to let his personal life filter and bleed into the work environment. That day was one of those days, and eventually the behavior which I saw as nitpicky and at times ignorant finally grated on my nerves, and I began to vocalize my frustrations. After a rather tense several minutes of silence as we drove between pickup locations, he apologized for his behavior, stating he'd had a stressful couple weeks. For the next couple hours, our interactions were back to what is normal for us. However, as I'd sensed by how tense he'd been all day, the peace wasn't to last. He was showing periods of irritation on the road. Not quite road rage, as he wasn't yelling, however, every tiny thing seemed to annoy him. Eventually, this behavior irked me. I'm a chill dude. I handle conflict by assessment, analyzing, and problem solving. Overly intense individuals make me uncomfortable at times, and this was one of those times. I got rightfully irritated as his way of expressing his frustration with life didn't really jive with my way of viewing life. Anger came, and I said to myself, I'm gonna prank this fool. He gonna act like that and ruin my day. He's gonna get thrown off and shown. I waited until we parked at a truck stop and shuffled through my bag. After a few moments, my lips curved up in a mischievous smirk, having found the air horn I'd taken with me in the event I, wanted to scare the hell out of anyone. Glancing out the rearview mirror, my ethereal blue eyes shimmered with mischief and laughter. His back was turned to me, shoulders straining as he fixed the ratchet straps, holding down 2 stacks of wooden pallets. Quietly, I pushed my door open and shut it behind me when I slipped out, air horn in hand. Ducking down, I maneuvered my way around the truck's double-wide bed. As quietly, as lithely as a cat, I make my way unnoticed within feet of him before pressing down on the button atop the can. The former silence was broken by the shrill shriek of the novelty toy. This caused 2 things to happen in quick succession of one another. Devon leaps about 2 feet off the concrete, turning around almost as soon as his feet touch the ground. This being quickly and obviously followed by me keeling over and gasping for breath as I let loose with a healthy, full-bodied laugh. Between wheezing laughs, I hear him utter a 2-word expletive that we've all heard before, which only serves to make me laugh harder. I think the overall takeaway is, I'm a mischievous bean when I'm irritated. Take from that what you will, and thank you so much for letting me share my story.